That's 5:30, and we will all rise and say if it's a debate test. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm sorry, then. The compliment. All righty. Okay, roll call. We have, Jim's here.
Yes.
Okay. Andy's here. Cindy's here, and we got Kevin online. Hi, Kevin.
I'm here. It's just really, really choppy, but I'll try and fill in the blanks myself.
All righty. Okay. And I'm here. And we have oh, pardon me. We have a excuse absence request form from Miss Cindy Aldrich. You might make a motion
I'll make a motion
to approve.
to be approved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed? All righty. And I'll just initially. So. Okey dokey. All right, now we'll move on to any additions to the agenda. Okay. There a motion? Do we need to make a motion if there are no additions?
You need to make a motion to approve the
Yes.
agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Good.
Okay.
All right, the
Excuse me.
agenda,
Wait, hold on.
Miss, can we ask Mr. Tuig to make sure that he raises his hand or speaks so that I can get his vote down?
did you get that, Kevin?
That one I heard, yes.
A verbal or a hand motion?
Got it.
Okay, all right. All right, so next thing is if we have any interested citizens. I don't think there's anybody that signed in by the audience. Is there anybody online saying? No? Okay. So we will move on now, then approve the minutes and that's in this staff report, right?
I still need to approve them.
What's that?
The minutes still have to be approved.
Oh, that was the agenda. I'm sorry.
And there was.
Now we're gonna-
So I'm not gonna approve it.
Gotcha.
Make a motion, that's gonna make a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Go. Any opposed? None? Okay, so that has passed. Okay, now we have for the next hour.
It's not supposed to go for an hour. I've been suffering from a bit of a cold. So yesterday I thought, oh, I'll never be able to speak. My throat seems pretty good, but now I have a little bit of a cough. So I've got my emergency water, my gum, like hopefully we'll make it through this without problem. So basically give you an update on what's been happening at city council. You're always invited and welcome to either attend or check out their videos afterwards. But we have been plowing through our amendments and they adopted the affordable housing amendments, which was the ADU. So you can now build an ADU in town. They held a public hearing, but did not pass the first read for the specialized housing. So that's all the emergency housing, shelters, transitional housing, et cetera. They are going to do another first read on July 7th. So they did if motion for a first read did not pass, they asked for some clarification from our legal advisors and then try it again on July 7th. The city council review, so it wasn't a hearing, they just reviewed the language for transportation amendments that you had in your previous meeting. You held the hearing and made a recommendation of approval. So generally speaking, they were content, although one thing that they brought up is they would like a definition of paved parking, and they would like options available with what is paved. For instance, the state is saying we have to allow grass block. And so maybe we should consider other non-traditional pavings as long as they're pavings that will hold up to vehicle parking. So I'm exploring that and we'll be bringing that back to them at July 7th meeting. I think that's the correct one for an amendment to the, or they'll be holding their public hearing, but having that additional information in there regarding the paving. And that summarizes all that's been going on in city council. Do you have any questions of me? Or what's happening around town or anything? Okay.
We're moving on now to the scheduled items. Periodic update for the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, a little bit of reading there. So we had done them in pieces, right? You had part one and part two and part three, we just put it all together so we could look at it comprehensively. We did make a few changes to the earlier portion, so it's not 100% the same as the first go round. We had a steering committee meeting. We have a steering committee. Joe David represents the planning commission, although he was out of town for this particular meeting, but to guide the update for our comprehensive plan, and they were generally satisfied with the draft. However, they had two significant recommendations, and one is they would like to see economic development being a more prominent part of the plan. Right now, it's embedded in the placemaking chapter, and they would just like that more thought out, what we can do to help economic development here in town. The second is they would like to see an action plan. So you've read it, there's a number of goals, there's a lot of priority actions, and they're like, that's all great, but where do we go from here? We need an action plan. So that's what I've been working on. I don't have it produced yet, but I told the steering committee that I would try to have it produced by the end of next week. And it's been a really excellent exercise. I actually went through the goals and streamlined those a little bit to make them more consistent in how they're done, and found a few that weren't really goals, more like priorities or actions. So fix those up. And then put all the priority actions together because I was like, I think we could have some redundancy in here because different chapters address the same topics from different perspectives, right? So looking at all those, so I've been going through those and removing redundancies and like what really makes sense for an action plan for our comprehensive plan. So I will have that for you next time. And I'll make it available to you also when I have it done. And we won't have to wait till the next agenda packet, but I'll make that available to you. But at this time, I would like to hear any and all feedback about our comprehensive plan. Cindy sent a few typographical, grammatical things, but anybody has anything else to say?
I don't know if this is the right time or not, but I noticed you've got a nice legend here of the urban growth areas that are going to be added to the city.
That is actually from the transportation plan, that map that you were given tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is not as accurate and well drawn as the map in the comp.
Okay. Well, I wondered, it looked different, so.
Yeah.
But my only comment is that the eastern urban growth area, that area has an awful lot of wetlands and basalt. You can't hardly do anything over there without using a jackhammer or dynamite.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yeah, and that is correct, completely accurate. The thing that The reason that is being asked for our urban growth area is it provides the connectivity to Silver Lake and all those homes that have for transportation, one way in, one way out. Right now, they do not have public water and sanitary sewer. They're all on wells and septic tanks. And so in order for the city to eventually provide these services, and we are the likely contender because we don't have any other utilities in the area to do that. We're getting closer by including that in our urban growth area. And the landowner, which is the Bible Camp, is very interested in developing. So because we have an interested party, we don't want to have something in our UGA that will never be developed. So we have a party that is interested in developing. It plays several roles in order, but yes, it has a lot of wetlands, and there's actually a rule that says it can't be more than 15%. And it's hovering maybe around 13%. So, wetlands, yeah, known wetlands at least, yeah. Yeah. And the Bible Camp did employ a wetland specialist to look at that. So they have done a due diligence on that.
And so, I'm sorry, read that.
No, well, the thing I was gonna say is if you're gonna provide utilities down there, if you're gonna go through that area. Well, that's a lot of drilling.
It's mostly transportation for that area, but it can provide water service loops, because my understanding is it's important to loop water service so it doesn't get stagnant. And we are not allowed to provide sewer outside of our urban growth area. So that's something we have to think about.
I just think a lot of money putting that kind of stuff in there. Not that it can't be done. Thank you.
I was gonna ask, so if that was also part of the consideration of the transportation plan with the proposed 3 or 4 additional routes, but the one going down there, that's gonna be part of that.
Yeah, it's just
know it's segmented out.
acknowledging the general idea of we're looking for more connectivity. Because you were all here for the fire, we know how desperate people were trying to get out of that area, and we'd like to make a better situation. We'd like to help make a better situation.
Oh, yeah, well, I would assume if they're gonna make a road in that area that's proposed, it'd be a nice stretch of road considering the way you get back there is pretty curvy and windy and can be tight if you're trying to get vehicles out and emergency equipment in. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I can see some of the benefits towards that, but yeah, there are, like Jim said, I'm sure there'll be some other challenges as well. But,
for sure.
yeah, thank you. Did anyone else have any, comments, questions, concerns? Andy?
This is kind of a silly question, or request. Part 1, page 17 of 118 is the photograph of the parade. And I just thought it might be good to put the year that was.
Okay.
That's the recent one from this.
No, it was last year's.
Okay, that's fortunate.
Relatively confident last year. It could have been 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I'll check. And I don't know if any new photos were taken
Well, I saw some on the website.
of the parade.
Well, one was on the website, but on the Medical Lake Facebook, some pictures were put out there.
Okay.
Some on, I don't know, I can't remember anywhere aerial, but I did see some pictures that are posted.
Yeah, that one was actually off the roof of City Hall.
Cindy, anything?
No promise.
Kevin?
No, first time I've really read the entire thing through twice, but I didn't really end up with any questions from it. I thought that's got a ways to go, but we're getting there.
Well, Kevin, I'm gonna give you kudos for reading it twice.
Yeah, it just didn't stick the first time.
Okay,
So on page 63 of 118, at the top, the first sentence talks about the North End Park. Is that officially named that? Is it, because I have never seen a sign there that says that. It's not.
As far
really-
as I know, it's officially the name, but I can. I don't know that there's documentation.
Yeah, it just sort of popped up like, with no background.
Okay.
Could just.
And it could be one of those things that's just a default, there was no name, and people just were like, you know, the North End Park.
Yeah, the north end of the lake, yes. No park, no real park. A picnic table, no picnic table.
Well, there's
Oh, yeah, it's in the shade.
a boat launch or I don't know if you call it a boat launch.
No,
but
it's
a-
not.
There's a small paved area that people will use for very small craft to get in the water.
To walk with that.
Yeah.
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 In a porta potty.
Okay, is that it then?
Okay, well, I'll just say that I'm having a workshop with city council this coming meeting, July 7th. And then I come back to you next month for the public hearing for adoption. So we're getting public hearing for your recommendation to go to council heading towards adoption. So right now, if we follow the schedule, it would be around August 4th. Would be, I think that's the meeting for the final adoption to city council. So getting close to that one. So speak up.
So now you're gonna move on to impact and fees,
Yeah,
or impact fees. So,
yes, so you have a briefing sheet about impact fees and we didn't need page numbers for this one, so.
oh, no. Okay.
We have a page number for the briefing sheet. There we go, it's 88. Yeah, thank you, I should have gotten that. I've gotten so used to city council, it was added to the packet, so now I don't know.
If you want me to do that,
I would love it.
okay.
Because I always before went through the packets and found the numbers beforehand, and I got out of the habit because you've been so great about city council. Okay, so our our impact fees. Right now, we have 3 impact fees: fire, parks, and schools. They were all adopted in 1999. The 1990s is when growth management came to fruition. We had our first comprehensive plan in 1997, and this is one of the follow-up things that happened was starting those impact fees. We have, with the exception of the parks that we did revisit in 2011 and update the fees, they have not been revisited at all since 1999. And that includes fire impact fee where our fire department was dissolved. So we are getting a very small fee that we forward on to Fire District 3 because now we contract with them. But ultimately, that is really not good. You know, the Fire District 3 are the ones that should be doing the methodology and setting their fees. And we have had conversations with them and they are interested in it, but we are only a small part of their district. So they would need to coordinate quite a bit more in order to arrive at an impact fee. So it will not happen this year. They just don't have the time to get that done. And so we will be discontinuing fire impact fees until a future date.
Do they have an idea of when they might want to repay?
They would love to do it right away, you know, and we will be doing an annual cycle. So essentially the best time to look at impact fees or set your impact fees are right, or, you know, looking at the methodology is right before our budget season. So it all just feeds into the budget. So that is about now. Budget season generally is October. So, you know, late summer would be the best time to be adopting new impact fee methodology.
Hopefully they can tend to adhere in the coming early winter when it's not as busy. I know they're pretty busy right now.
Yes, that's enough.
Happens to be in our time of budget analysis is fire season time too for them, and they're busy, I'm sure, just like everybody else out there.
Yes, yes. So side note, it's even written in our municipal code that we should be reviewing these annually, like it's stated, like shall be reviewed annually, and apparently we never have, except that was an exception, but so we will be doing that from now on, now that it's been brought to our attention that it should be done. The school district, we've had conversations with the school district, and they're in the midst of updating their facilities plan. They've had I'm not sure what they're calling it, so it's something like a steering committee for their own facilities plan. And that will be wrapping up soon but they don't have enough time to really get a new methodology and a new impact fee set. So we will be continuing with the existing school impact fee, and they're intending to be able to update it next year. And then finally, our parks fee, which did get updated in 2011. It's based on basically acreage. Like there's a level of service set, like how many acres of park are needed for 1,000 residents, and then we do fraction thereof. And it's not an ideal system, especially in a city that has a very large park that counts for a lot of acreage, but then not maybe enough neighborhood parks. So what we're looking at right now is a different way to approach level of service. And one of them that we're exploring is having a park within a quarter mile of every residence. So when I helped out with the Parks Master Plan that was recently adopted by City Council, I produced a map that shows the areas in town that are not served by a park within a quarter mile. So we have the very north part of Graham Road heading out of town, like past Fox Hollow, Fox Ridge, like the edge of that, they're not served. The area just north of our middle school is not served well. It's a little too far from Pioneer Park. Down in, I have a map, trying to think of the name, is it Silver Lake Road or the subdivision that is our southeast corner? I can't remember the name.
South Lake Bears.
South Lake, where you live, South Lake
Yeah.
Forest, thank you. That one is distant from the elementary school or the middle school. So I was even looking at schoolyards, right? It's still more than a quarter mile to any of those. That's an area. When we're looking at the northwest portion of town, right now there's not much development up that way, but if we saw any development, because we do have large parcels up there that could be developed, that's an area that we don't have past. So if we look at that, and where development would end up on the edge of town, you know, what do we need for just pocket parks? Like a pocket park, a neighborhood park is something generally no larger than a quarter of an acre. And, but it has basic things like a playground, a shelter, somewhere to sit, some landscaping. So if we looked at that, could we figure out a methodology for working at it? So the basis of impact fees is impact fees are only the impact that new residents have, right? So then we look at how many new residents we could potentially have. So that's one idea that we're going to look at to update our parks impact fees. That covers the idea phase for impact fees. Any comments, questions, concerns about impact fees?
Go ahead, Cindy.
Is there anything, what about transportation? It's the fourth one. Do we do anything
Yes.
on that one?
So now that we have a transportation plan,
Yeah,
we would like to look into that to see if it's something that we would benefit from. Can't fit it in this year,
yeah,
so that is something we'll look at next year.
future, okay.
Any? No. Come in. Good. Okay. There. All right. Thank you so much. And then, So, rules and procedures, we addressed that uh 2 meetings ago, and then for changes, and last meeting, we reviewed all the changes. And now we're going to either approve or disapprove of it.
Yes, so you didn't get a new copy in your packet. Nothing changed from the copy that was in your previous, so you reviewed it last time, you made the motion to get the word, but recognize it to be adopted at the following meeting, because it's a two-step process. So, no changes recommended, and that was all redlined. If you choose to adopt those amendments tonight, then we will provide you with a clean copy the next time. There's nothing.
And that gets posted on the site, and that gets posted on the site as well, right?
Website?
Yeah, is it? I'm not sure. It's not?
No.
Okay.
No, maybe a good idea, that,
We can.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I would be, no, I think good.
Good idea.
So that people can see it, transparency. All right, so is there a motion from anybody to adopt the amendments? Changes?
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the changes as amended.
All right, you got a second?
Second,
Yeah, all right. Any discussion on this? Everybody's happy? Okay, all those in favor? Say aye.
I,
All those
Aye.
opposed? Great. Thank you, Kevin. There are no opposed, so it is passed unanimously. Okay. So now we have a public hearing section on subdivisions. Or update on subdivisions, so this is a public hearing amendment on regarding subdivisions, and our time is 5:50. You want me to just wait a couple seconds, round it up, 5:58? We'll say 5:58. Here we go, 5:58. I'll read the following. This hearing will be conducted as follows. The city planner will make a presentation, and then all those citizens wishing to speak will get a turn. Finally, the city planner will make a final statement and answer questions of the planning commission. And now I turn it over to Miss Lisa.
Thank you. Okay, so briefing sheet on page 90 and staff report on page 91. So first, I will describe the proposal, which is on page 91. You can see there's 9 items there of what's happening with the code. So we're deleting sections, deleting general provisions, deleting number 7 is subdivision variance, and number 8 residence division. Then we're replacing definitions, preliminary plat, short plats, survey methods, requirements for improvements, infrastructure improvements, final plat, and binding site plan, and then adding a new chapter called lot line adjustments. I spared you reading all the chapter numbers, and then you can refer to that page. So to describe the language that's being proposed, first, the lot line adjustment. So our current municipal code does not cover lot line adjustments at all. So we do get these regularly. A lot line adjustment is when you have 2 or more properties and you're moving a line in between them. And essentially what we're looking for when you do that is that the lot that's being created still meets our minimum lot size standards, minimum widths. And the new line is not too close to any structure, that all the setbacks are still met. And then finally, that there's not any utilities crossing. If there's utilities crossing one way or another, then we get easements and it's all okay. But in the rare instance where you have a septic system, we can't have property line crossing the septic system. So those are the basic things that we're looking for. And we just didn't have a formal procedure. We have an application, we have an information sheet. I've been doing it for 4 years, but it'd be nice to have it formalized. It is something that we are allowed to do per the RCW. So it's something we can do, but there's not really any guidance to speak of in RCWs also. So that's what that chapter is all about. Mr. Tuig had posed the question, if you have a lot line adjustment where the same person owns both properties, do you really need a survey? And the answer is yes, that anytime you use a move property line, you do need a survey to do that. And the process, after I do my approval, I fill out some paperwork and I send them off to the county and they get it recorded with the county and they get, I think they actually give new tax lot numbers. They don't just adjust those tax lots, they give new numbers. And new tax systems with their 2 new lots. And then it's reflected on all the maps, including the scout maps, if you ever look online. So for the rest of the information, there's no significant policy changes. It's just a matter of trying to create a code that is a little more readable, easier to use, streamlined. We attempted to make the process and criteria straightforward, including section 19.350.030 has an overview. So because a subdivision or a land division is a multi-step process, so you have your preliminary plat, you have infrastructure that needs to be built, and you have a final plat. It spells out, what those are. And then the specifications are as you go on through a chapter. It spells out all the application materials, and that's really important. In the state, we have a law that says when somebody submits an application, we have 28 days to determine if that application is complete. And so by having a list of what is required to be submitted, then we can determine if it's complete and there's no gray area. The applicant and staff both know what that means. It is not quality of product. It is, do you have the pieces? Just because you have a complete application does by no means mean you're going to get an approval. It's just that the items are there. Then there's a citation to review process. So I think only Andy was here at the time, but a couple of years ago, we updated all our procedures. It was because of a new mandate from the state about review time. So it used to be all land use reviews had to be done within 180 days. I might have that number wrong. 180 days after an application is deemed complete. That's the other thing that's so important about that deeming complete is you have a timeline. Once that is deemed complete, you have a certain number of days in order to arrive at a decision. And if you don't arrive at a decision, there are repercussions. So we need to do that. So the state law changed. And so now depending on the type of review, there are different timelines. So we adjusted our code to do that. And now we have type 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so there's just a citation in the proposed language to that review process information. The criterion is clearer. Criterion are clearer, sorry. The current code is just sort of what is the criterion for this? It's kind of a lot of maybe this looks like it could be. It doesn't just say this is the criterion. So it makes that a lot clearer. And then the standards are all cited rather than repeated. So trying to streamline the code and not duplicate language anywhere, just make a citation. So we have a list of citations. They're similar for a land division versus a binding site plan, but not exactly the same. And then we have sections for each of those. Some of them refer to other parts of the code. So for instance, streets and utilities are going to also refer to Title 11 and Title 12. There's citations for our critical areas, our shorelines. Might be short on one there, but that's the general idea, is just keeping it clear what needs to be done and where you go for that information. The streets and utilities standards used to be part of, this is all from Title 15, used to be part of that title, and we are moving it into titles, well, streets into Title 11 and utilities into Title 12. So that is not part of this packet. Technically, it's not under the Growth Management Act, so the Planning Commission doesn't have to approve that type of thing. So I'm working with our Public Works Director in order to get those standards. I don't know that any changes are being proposed. It's mostly a matter of just making things clear. Like easy to read, what are the standards you need to adhere to? Let's see, so we have all the criterion and the findings of fact are found in the staff report. I'm not going to go through all those, but to summarize, the amendments are consistent with our comprehensive plan. They comply with the GMA, Growth Management Act. They provide clear and effective standards, and they continue to protect shorelines and critical areas, and they're not detrimental to the community. So for all these reasons, the criterion are met and can be approved. And based on this information, I would ask that you make a recommendation to our city council. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, Bob?
I have a question on page 98. When you're talking about the maintenance bond. At the very bottom, 19.380.070 guarantee. As I understand, 110% is what's in the current code. Is that adequate for what we would want as a city for that performance bond? And the reason that I ask that is that my experience from doing lending in real estate is that can oftentimes be short for whatever item that we're trying to get them to finish. Because that's the bond they're having to put, and they did their cost analysis in January, and it's 18 months to develop. Costs have gone up, so maybe 110% of that amount is no longer enough. My other experience was that we as a lender required 150%. So that it was more motivating for them to get it completed, because they would oftentimes post that bond and start selling and weren't real motivated to get it finished quickly, which just causes more problem. As well as we had a couple go sideways and it was inadequate to finish what needed to be done. So I don't know if 110% is enough.
Yeah.
And since we do have the option to consider an amount, I was wondering if you guys had an opinion on that.
My experience with all the building I've done, mostly government contracts and, pretty big structures and whatever, but, we never went with 110%. 150 sounds pretty good to me for a city this size and the things that would probably be done here.
I agree. I totally agree. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Didn't seem cost. It just doesn't seem like enough from the point where we start to the point where you're gonna end. We want to make sure they have the funds to finish. We don't want to have to step in and have to finish, because that's lawsuits and a mess. And
I know, I'm sure you have something to contribute. You've done constructions, projects.
I would just throw it that there seemed to me that there is some regulation, maybe some state law on public projects, and that we're probably subject to that. But I don't know. Has that been checked?
I have not checked that. I can look into it. So this isn't a public project, so the city isn't doing it. So that could be a differentiation, but I can check that. And if I find law that says we can't charge more than 110%, then
Right.
we'll just take care of that when it gets to city council.
okay,
Otherwise, I really agree with the statement that 110% when you bid a project and finish it a year later is unlikely to be accurate or adequate.
Right. Excuse me. Yeah, I am. Thanks for bringing that up, Cindy. I read through that and then I didn't equate that with, not to bring in what I do, but working for the state. And I know in our capital projects, we definitely ask about close to 150% or at 150% too. Granted, they are state projects, but they're private contracts, and we tend to ask for that extra bit just so they have to close it out within 18 months, depending on the side of the project or the cost. But I would see, unless, like you said, if there's something that by law that we have to abide by that. Is there a way to make this on hold until we can find out, and then,
I would suggest making a recommendation to change it and just add the caveat unless it's found in state law to be prohibited.
okay. That sounds fair. Okay. Any other? Oh, Kevin, we talking? We didn't hear you. I saw your mouth moving.
I was just gonna say that I would move it under those conditions.
Okay. All right, before we get to that, any other questions or comments? Just for our information sheet here, do we have any, but I know we don't have anybody here, any citizens, because we have to offer them an opportunity to speak. Was there any online? I don't see any. Is there, but I can't.
There's no one online.
There's no one, okay, so we can move past that part then, okay? All right, so we made our questions. Any, before we close, I have to give a closing time of 6:11. And now, someone will make a motion to recommend with the modification or note caveat about looking into the was that 19.380.070 guarantee as stated 110% to see if it can be increased or we're legally bound by some state requirement or RCW. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll
on
make that motion.
Okay, got a second?
I'll second.
I'll go Andy, I saw her first. That's fine, okay. All right, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Kevin, we got a hand, Kevin? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, okay, that has passed, that's the recommendation to the city council. When you find that out, if it's before our next meeting, would you just
Sure.
maybe email us or something?
Yeah.
You know, we'll let you on that. All right, now we have our next. Our next periodic update is on a transportation master plan. This is another public hearing. So a public hearing for the medical aid master, municipal code, sorry,
Transportation master plan.
what's that?
Transportation master plan.
Transportation master plan. So that's starting at 6:13. And the state that the procedures will I read last are still in effect for any citizens or any other comments. So I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Okay, so last time we had a workshop on the plan. You would have received the full new plan as in the electronic copy in your email. But the paper copy, for those who receive it, you've got some replacement pages, plus the map that was tonight. I remember, is it 6.5? 6.5. I had some back and forth with the consultant on this one and finally got the correct. So I think I had mentioned before that all the numbers were correct. But he was referring to that southern area as a UGA expansion, and it's already in the city. And it's not the full length of that bar. None of these are reflecting exactly what the urban growth area proposal is. You can find that on the map with the TAZ, transportation area zone, I think maybe that means. That map has the correct shapes. And we met with the applicant the consultant very early in the process to talk about what a maximum build out would mean in those areas. So despite the graphics, the information is still good, and he just changed the labels so it wouldn't imply that this is an area we are expanding into. Let's see here. The changes that were made, mostly typos, grammatical, a few footnotes and whatnot that were not correct. The ones that were more significant, I added our planning commission to the acknowledgements. He didn't have you in the original. the bus information. He had bus 61, I think, from Airway Heights, and he said all the data was correct. It was just mislabeling, so he changed to bus 62 for Medical Lake. And then, of course, the mislabeling of the southern UGA area is now Southern Development Area. So those are the big changes, and you have your replacement pages. So for a transportation plan, we don't actually have any approval criteria like we do for amendments or a comp plan or a zoning map. However, you being a planning commission, it is still appropriate to make a recommendation to the city council. So that is what I ask of you.
Okay, we don't have any body present, and I assume still no one is online, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we will move past that. Anything else before we open up for questions? Okay, go around the table. Cindy,
No questions?
questions? Andy?
What is a bicycle facilities?
That means it could be a bicycle lane, or it could be a bicycle, like a multi-use trail. Or it could be an individual, I mean, I don't think we would have them, but like a bicycle trail is not multi-use. So a bicycle facility is those areas created for bicycle use, for travel. It can also refer to parking and things like that. In this plan, it's mostly referring to street, like in the street or in the right of way. So either multi-use trails or bicycle lanes.
Okay.
Don't have any.
Kevin?
No comments. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll close that at 6:17. I ask for motion to recommendations, or any modifications to the city council.
So,
A second?
Second.
Yeah. All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Yay. Hey, all those opposed? None? Okay, so moved. All right. Now, now we are at item 8, which is, anybody have any additional comments? Kevin, we'll start with you. Anything else?
I thought Founder's Day went very, very well. Was a very nice day. And seemed to have a great high level of participation, lots of vendors, lots of things going on. It was good Founder's Day. Just complimented all the city staff that worked so hard to put it on, including Elisa.
Thank you. I forgot to recognize you participating, volunteering your time.
Yeah, thanks, Jim, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin, for working that. I heard some good things from some of my neighbors about, we were out of town and we missed it, and the pictures I saw, yeah, looked like it was really good work. So, thank you, Kevin.
It's an annual event, so put it on your calendar for next year.
Yeah.
You will volunteer this
Last year.
year. First weekend.
We had made these reservations for the National Sandcastle competition.
oh, well,
So that was fun to go watch, but so happened to be at the same weekend. So,
I don't have anything.
okay, thank you. Andy?
Nope.
I'm good. Sandy? Well, okay, well, I just wanted to thank everybody, again, it did look, from what I saw, and what I heard, it looked like a great, turnout, and, the pictures were good. I have, people I know that work out at Lakeland Village that participate, and they were telling me about it, and they mentioned too that, they go every year. Last year, they didn't, we had our new training, and they were telling me, yeah, it was a really good turnout this year, and they said the weather was just perfect, so which was great to hear. And I also want to thank you, Lisa, for all the work you've been doing with this, and I like the maps on the comprehensive plan. It's really add some clarity to like what wetlands are and bus routes and bike routes and A lot of detail, a lot of information, makes it very clear. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have to recognize any interested citizens, which I don't see any here again, and I believe there's still no one online, correct? Correct. All righty, well, then we will move for our conclusion. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion to close this out?
I'll make a motion to close the planning commission meeting.
All right, thank you, Andy.
Second,
Jim, okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, none opposed? None opposed, okay. And it is 6:20.